Hi guys, welcome to Labor Law lecture series. We were discussing about Trade Union Act 1926 in previous videos, and this is the fifth video in the case of in the series of Trade Union Act 1926. Okay, in the first four video, we discussed historical aspects and we also looked into a bird's eye view of the act and then discussed in detail about the key definitions like trade union, trade dispute and employee or a workman. And also in the previous video, we started discussion on a registration of a trade union. With respect to a registration, there are section 3 to section 14 of the act deals with registration of a trade union. In the previous video we discussed about this, video number 4, section 3 to section 9 we discussed in that, and in this video we are going to discuss about section 10 to section 14. Okay, let's start our discussion with section 10, which deals with the cancellation. Okay, cancellation is a important aspect in a registration of a trade union. Once the trade union get registered or at the time of registration, registrar can withdraw or issue a cancellation notice to the trade union. Let us see look into the provisions of section 10, which deals with cancellation in detail. First one, the registrar can cancel the registration. Do you all agree with this? So registrar can only cancel the registration. Okay, under what grounds the registrar can cancel it? One, if the application is not as per the act, if the application is not as per the policy, as per the provisions of the act. Okay, if it is not as per provisions of the act, he can cancel it. The second ground on the registration cancellation is if a registrar is satisfied that trade union has obtained a registration based on some wrong information. Okay, this wrong information may be by way of fraud or by way of mistake. By giving some information which is a wrongful information, maybe a fraud or a mistake. Okay, the important case with respect to this cancellation of a trade union is Gopal Upadhyay versus Union of India. Gopal Upadhyay Union of India is a case of a association of a military medical team, military medical corps team. Okay, they formed the association which includes cook, driver, gardeners, etc. They all form an association. Later on, registrar realizes that it is a mistake, that if any military team forms a union, then it affects the performance of military, right? If this is a supporting body for a main military operation, so that's why registrar thought that it is going to impact the performance of a military function, so that's why they cancel this trade union. Okay, the trade union initially the certificate might have given, but maybe by some wrong information or from that wrong information might have been given to do a fraud or by mistake. In those cases, a registrar can cancel the trade union. Okay, the third point with respect to a cancellation is if a registrar is satisfied with the following points, then he can ask for a cancellation. What are those points? Point 1 is if a trade union is ceased to exist. If trade union is ceased to exist, then he can ask for cancellation. Okay, then if there is any willfully contravened the provisions of the law. Okay, if their provision says something and then they are doing opposite of it, right? If they are willfully do the wrong thing against the provisions of the law, then it can be cancelled. At the same time, if they allowed any rule to continue, in contrast to the provisions, then also a registrar can ask for a cancellation. And the fourth is if they resigned it, any rules any rules which they ought to follow, if they miss some rules which they have to follow, in that case that registrar can give a cancellation notice. Okay, especially in a point number 2 and point number 3, a registrar has to give 2 months notice. It is 60 days notice to a trade union. If it is not given and if any action is taken within 60 days, then it is called as illegal. This was discussed in the case of Radhesham Singh versus Bata Mazdoor Union. Okay, for cancellation under point number 2 and point number 3, registrar has to give 60 days of notice. If he has not given, then he can't take any actions on them. If they are taking any action, then it is illegal. So this was discussed in the case of Radhesham Singh versus Bata Mazdoor Union. And the most important, right? This all are like when registrar can cancel it. On the other side, a trade union itself can apply for a cancellation. Okay. One is a trade union can be get cancelled by registrar in the following situations, but on the other side, the trade union itself can ask for a cancellation. In this case, registrar must make sure that it has it is approved in general meeting by more than 50% of the members. Okay, it is approved in general meeting with more than 50% of its members. This is all about cancellation with respect to trade unions which are registered. Okay, and let's move to a next point, which is about which talks about appeal, section 11. If registrar issues a cancellation notice, then a trade union can go to a appeal. Right, trade union can go to a appeal. Appeal means it takes it to a next level. Okay, it takes to a next level and asks why the cancellation is done. Cancellation is illegal, so they can fight it. So they take it to a court. What is the jurisdiction for this? What is the jurisdiction? Okay, if the trade union head office is in presidency towns, wherever high court is there, right, it's called presidency towns. In those cases, high court is going to be a jurisdiction for this. Or in other places, the city civil courts, highest level civil court in that area, highest level civil court is going to be responsible for is a jurisdiction for these particular cases, trade union related cases. Okay, for all these matters, the court will follow Code of Civil Procedure 1908. Okay, the courts will follow the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, and the court will be having the same power of when they deal with the other cases, right? The similar power they will be having here also. They can summon someone, they can compel for some proofs, production of documents, and inspection order can be issued. Whatever they do it in a civil, the similar responsibilities can be exercised by, similar actions can be exercised by court in the cases related to trade union. So 4 important points in this. One is a trade union can appeal the decision of a cancellation and take it to a next level. They have to deal with the courts in that case. The jurisdiction is, if head office is in presidency towns, then high court. In the other places, the highest civil court will be jurisdictions for it. Okay, and all the courts will follow Civil Procedures Code 1908, and civil courts have similar powers like summon and then compelling to produce document or inspection, etc. This was held in the case of Mir Kumar Guha versus Register of Trade Union. With this, we move to our next topic, section 10, which talks about registered office. Every trade union must have some registered office, right? Where is the head office? Registered office, or it is called as a head office. And whatever the head office location, there they have to do a registration in that particular state or that particular jurisdiction. They have to do registration. If there is any change in the HO, if there is any change in the HO, it should be intimated to registrar within 14 days. How many days? Within 14 days they have to intimate it to registrar office. Okay. Section 13 deals with important incorporation of a registered trade union. Once the trade union get registered, it is not a now unregistered firm or something. It is a body corporate, right? So this is a body corporate. After registration, it becomes body corporate. It has then perpetual succession. What does it mean? It continue to exist. It is not going to stop, right? If any member dies, the new member will get in, so it will be continue to exist for longer period, and it will be having its own common seal. Okay, after registration, the nature of trade union get changes. It becomes a body corporate. It will be a perpetual succession. It will not impacted by death of any member. It will be having its own common seal, and because of this, it can acquire any property, right? Any movable or immovable property. So trade union can buy land or so immovable property, land or a car or something. So it can acquire them, and it can get into a contracts with other parties for supply of some materials or anything. So they can get into a contract. It can be sued, or it can be sued, or it can sue to others also, right? So all these things are nature of a trade union once it get incorporated according to section 8 and section 9 of Trade Union Act. Okay, once it is registered and they get a incorporation certificate, so the trade union get converted into a body corporate. It will be a perpetual succession and then continue to exist irrespective of the debts of a member. There's a common seal in it, and then they acquire any movable or immovable property. They can get into a contract, and it can be sued or can sue to anyone. Okay, this is all the characteristics of trade union after registration. The final section is on it is an acts which are not applicable to trade union. It is a very simple point here because all the trade unions will get registered in Trade Union Act. Few acts are not applicable. If any trade union registered themselves in these acts, then it is invalid. Okay, the what are those? These are the Society Registration Act. Society Registration Act 1860 is not applicable, and at the same time Cooperative Societies Act of 1912, and then Companies Act. Okay, Companies Act of 1956, and right now it is 2013. All these are not applicable. Okay, if any trade union registers under this, then it is a void. Okay, all the trade unions must register under Trade Unions Act of 1926. This brings to an end of our discussion on registration of a trade union. In the subsequent or in upcoming videos, we will talk about funds related to trade union. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about registration, please put your questions in a comment box. Thank you.